Okay, okay.
team.
I mean, beyond Liverpool's amazing run this season and their coach who is quite something. Um, Over on the other side in Germany, uh, Bayern Munich are continuing status quo. This is their how many titles in a row, Mike? How many have they won in a
Eight,
row now?
eight, eight,
Eighth
eight in a row.
consecutive title. I mean, I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, but I think that's why some of these leagues are a bit more difficult to watch because they're a bit predictable. The kind of drama and cliffhanging football is not there. But again, I think it takes quite something to be at the level of Bayern Munich 8 years in a row. What are your thoughts about that?
I actually think what's worse, or rather what looks worse for the Bundesliga is that the way Bayern started this season, it almost looked as if this was a season they wouldn't win it.
Yeah.
And they even had to sack their coach sometime in the season when the likes of Mönchengladbach and Dortmund and Leipzig were ahead of Bayern. But they've won it convincingly in the end. It could be it points to a club that has a good structure. I mean, they always know what they're doing. They always have a good transfer strategy. I think that's something you'll always praise Bayern for. Whenever they're signing from Real Madrid, Juve, PSG, what, or from the best players in the league. But overall, I don't think we should really blame them so much for their success. They're a brilliant club. They they have the best players in Germany. Once they sacked Niko Kovac and got this guy called Hansi Flick, who was the assistant, they almost now played with freedom and they just took off. They have brilliant youngsters, the like of Serge Gnabry, who used to be at Arsenal.
And in Arsenal he was useless. I mean, it's clearly an issue of the club you play for. That's where the problem is.
It's
the foundations are important. Foundations.
The foundations. So they have a young squad that's building and meshing, and this was their transition season, and they've won it fairly easily. So yeah, hats off to them also.
Okay. Let's move to another issue that we wanted to talk about today. I mean, in the entire world, it's a big thing right now happening that everyone seems to be having conversation about. Yes, Ayo.
Sorry, just something about Bayern Munich. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think that the German league, Bayern Munich as a club is very strong financially and on the field, but do you think as a league, I mean, the German football is suffering? Because the last time I know Bayern Munich won the Champions League was in 2013. And the last time they were eliminated by Barcelona, it was a very humiliating defeat. So I just don't know if that is also an indication to show that German football is struggling.
I mean, I think competition always brings out the best in people. So the stronger you are competitively, the better you will be doing. I think the competition has meant, even for example in England, the competition has meant even in Europe, you've seen the English teams do better now, versus when it was very one-sided. Then there was barely any progress in Europe. So I think the competition will always help. The fact that Bayern plays multiple games without having to break a sweat, it's the same thing PSG goes through. The league does not improve you in any way whatsoever. And then you come to Europe, you have all these amazing players, but they've not really been tested or pushed through the season. So for sure, I do think it affects the league. And I think it doesn't sharpen the top teams in that league as much as it should.
Though while I agree with that, I think there's also another factor, and it's a financial one. There's a new term being used nowadays, super clubs. And I think there's a way in which clubs like Bayern Munich are detached sort of from the league. So Bayern has actually been consistent in the Champions League, regardless of the non-competition they face. Yeah. And I think there are clubs that are getting there. You know, Real, Juve, Bayern, they just Barcelona. They are super clubs. So regardless of what's happening in their league, it's almost like they are preparing for the Champions League every season and in the transfers.
But Mike, why doesn't that count with PSG? They have equally as much money, equally as big names, equally as much domestic success, but their consistency in their failure in Europe is high.
Who knocks out PSG in the Champions League? It's usually a super club.
Manu.
Barcelona.
Manu.
Manu can be termed that in terms of the economic might. I mean,
did you see the team that played PSG that Manu game? Manu PSG game. Who was in the field? Ayo, was that a super team?
No,
I'm saying
okay, yeah, I think maybe there's a difference between a super team and a super club.
A super club, yeah.
In terms of finances, Manu could be.
They can compete on that level. They can go. So, and I know we'll discuss this later on, but probably if Leicester City gets to the Champions League, I think it might be a good thing and they deserve it, but they don't have the finances to compete, as opposed to if someone like a Man U or a Tottenham or an Arsenal gets the Champions League. So I think that's what we're talking about when we talk of super clubs. So next season, Leicester will be struggling to sign players for the Champions League as opposed to other clubs. But yeah.